Welcome to the Audiobook Lovin Podcast, discussing all things audiobooks with the authors that write the stories and the narrators that perform them. Brought to you by Viviana, Enchantress of Books.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 12 of the Audiobook Lovin Podcast. My guest today is narrator Jason Clarke. Welcome back to the Audiobook Lovin Podcast, Jason.
Thank you for having me.
For those that are new to the Audiobook Lovin family, Jason has been part of the series, which occurs in June, aka Audiobook Month. So I'll include all those links to previous conversations where we talk about, how to prep a book, how he gives voices to characters, because we've already talked about that. And we're today just catching up and seeing what's going on in, Jason's world since we last spoke. So with With that said, though, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got started, and how you became a narrator, just to start this convo?
Absolutely. Well, I've always loved being in a booth and doing voices, and that might not sound like it lends itself to starting a career, but it definitely helps when I enjoy doing it. So I went into acting as a kid and music. I loved making music and playing instruments. And then in college, I studied it, and I just sort of found my way into recording stuff for commercials early on in my career. And I got about a couple years into my professional career as an actor, and I wanted to get more involved with audio stuff and have that be something that I had. Excuse me. I wanted to get more involved in audio stuff and have that be something that was on the side at best, because I never thought that I would be able to make it a big thing. I figured that everybody that did it a long time or was very successful in that sort of thing, they had been grinding at it for their entire lives. And I just auditioned, and a friend of mine recommended this studio to, record the stuff at, and I went in, and it just clicked, and I started working on titles right away. And since then, it was pretty up and down. I would get busier months than others, and then a couple months would go by and I would have nothing coming out. But then a couple of years ago, it just really, really clicked, and I've had this amazing opportunity to work with all these new, wonderful people and interact with, people like on Jason's Gems and have an awareness of this whole world that has really welcomed me. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, yeah, I know that that's something too. We talked in the past how it kind of just seemed like it blew up, and now it's almost like you're anytime anybody asks, like, who's your favorite narrators, you're always on a top 5 list range.
Yes. I mean, it's so sweet. And it really did feel like it blew up in a sense. I mean, I knew I was working at it, but it really was the work of, people who just championed what I was doing. And it wasn't like a concerted effort on my part to be like, okay, now I really want to do this. I had been working at it and getting success here and there, but then all of a sudden it just started coming more and more. And I'm so grateful that it has.
Mm-hmm. And you're doing this now full time?
Yeah. I mean, it's, especially during COVID, it's a real blessing to be able to work from home. But this has become my full-time thing, and I'm doing my best to navigate that and figure out the most efficient way to, do that in a way that's as organized and professional as possible. And I'm learning a lot. But yeah, it's really wonderful to be able to do it full-time.
Good. Yeah, I think that and as listeners, we've been devouring audiobooks, especially now, because it gives us a little bit of a, safe haven, place to escape and stuff like that. And you've been producing a lot of books lately, and we're going, yay, work for us. Not complaining at all.
I'm glad I'm not, tiring everybody out.
Oh, absolutely not. They are, like I said, devouring it, and they're constantly asking, hey, what's next? What are you doing? What has he not done? And they're also trying to figure out if you have new authors or if you're a new type of character. I know that if you're becoming a dragon this week or another billionaire or guy next door. So lots of fun.
Yeah, no, it's thrilling in that sense, because whenever I get a book that's like a part of a sort of metaverse or fantasy world, it's like, oh wow, I know I'm gonna be doing something I've never done before. So those are always a treat.
That's part of the conversations we've had in Jason's Gems, for an example. And I'll mention, in case the people that are listening don't know what that is, Jason has an official fan group that he approved, and that's the title, Jason's Gems. And we get to talk and discuss and share info all about Jason. No, he's not in it. Sorry.
Oh, I can vicariously be in it. Yeah, I'll vicariously be in it through you. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do let him know, when cool things happen and that you guys are loving his work, because I think that's neat on both ends for him as well as for us as the listeners. But yeah, he's not in it. Again, sorry.
Sorry.
Well, I think it's as much as I'd love for you to be part of it, at the same time, I also feel like we can fangirl a little bit more without like feeling like awkward.
Sure.
Because you're not there to see it.
I'm happy to just be on my end, I mean, and obviously I'm happy to just do my work, and put all my energy into that. And hopefully that, communicates enough to listeners. But yeah, I mean, lately I've been doing a little more social media, which has been a lot of fun. But yeah, there's only so much energy I can put out there. Oh
yeah, no, it's a lot. And again, we want you to record audiobooks so we can listen to you. And how is that? As always said, that sexy growly voice of yours, yes, quote unquote. Yeah. Yeah. Which, by the way, I thought it was, and I meant to tell you, there's been a bunch of, like with audiobooks being very popular as of late, even more so, there's been this huge wave of interest in becoming a narrator. And your name also comes up with people are asking, hey, I'm new to the industry of being an audiobook. Who should I be listening to for as examples of great voices and how things are done and stuff like that? Your name also comes up. But we've also had a few of the guys say, yeah, he has a really good, sexy, growly voice.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, no, I certainly have talked to a few people. And yeah, one or two of them have been like, what is that, like breathy, like rumble that you do? And I'm like, it's probably not good for me in the long run, but maybe it'll just stay like this forever, hopefully. But yeah, it's really kind.
Mm-hmm. But that's also part of your natural, because I know as performers and narrators, there's these different ranges that you guys do for the characters, as well as when you're doing the, the character's inner dialogue versus when he's speaking to a character. This is actually your normal, more or less, range, is that deeper, growly, normal voice. So
yeah, for sure. And especially since I really am, when I'm recording books, I'm actually speaking very quietly. A lot of narrators speak louder than I do. And I mostly talk at this volume in general. If I'm, speaking to you directly, this is how I'm going to be talking. So yeah, this is where it sits. And there are some characters where I do push it even lower than this, but I can't really sustain that. But yeah, for the most part, the general, this sound right here is kind of like my mid-range.
Gee darn. Sorry. Fangirl moment.
Sure.
Yeah, no, it's I guess sometimes people think that growliness or that deeper lower range is something that you're doing. It's normal, but maybe doing. But I'm like, no, that's his normal voice. This is how he normally sounds. So yeah.
I mean, I'm definitely not as brooding as the guys are all the time in my daily life. That's not really how I live, but so those guys might kind of just stay down there. But yeah, I mean, I have more, I think a bit more happiness, I guess, in the way I talk. I'm a bit more of like a positive kind of guy.
Characters are always billionaires or some form of paranormal character and all that fun stuff. So I think that sometimes we like, hey, this is what I'm like, yeah, that's how he sort of sounds. But I'm sure he's not asking for his dinner in that growly, brooding kind of a voice when he's ordering food.
If I've got obviously if I have to raise my voice, it goes a little higher. And there are characters that it's all just different sides of know how I express myself in any different situation.
One thing too that I wanted to mention is you do a fantastic kid voice.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I was listening to Kaylee Loring's Charmer,
Oh,
and
yeah.
yeah, now it has a single parent in there, and the kid voice was just like, I was like, "Aw, that is so cute."
Oh, yeah. I've gotten some direction here and there where they're like, don't make it sound too much like a kid, because that can be. I think I could maybe, I don't know if I take it overboard or if that's a common thing, but I appreciate that.
Mhm.
I feel like it's a little. I don't know. I've never been that confident about it, but it's good to hear. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's definitely on the reviews and also part of our chats. And I know that Kaylee herself absolutely loves and adores you as a narrator and as a person as well. And she was raving about how you did the kid voices when it came down to your chapters and stuff like that. And and working with Mackenzie's also great. So
Yeah, for sure.
Mackenzie Cartwright, who was your co-narrator of that one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that was fun. So one of the things we thought was going to be fun was asking the Jason's Gems, again, your official fan group, to submit questions for our chat today. And they were thrilled. They were ecstatic, and they did not disappoint. They asked a bunch of questions that which we may not all get to today in our discussion, but I'm sure there'll be other opportunities for us to reconnect and finish some of these questions off at a later time. So we'll start with some of them and kind of go in and out because, they really got some really good questions. So Victoria Butler, who is one of our moderators too, and does all the new releases in the post for the groups. So she's phenomenal.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she's great and a huge fan of yours too. She says, you've been crazy busy recording, especially late of 2020. And now, what has been the most memorable narration of 2020 and why?
Oh boy, that's a tough one. I like you. Yeah, I think I began working on, and it's actually a title that I just finished that's going to be coming out soon. Samantha Christie's Reckless series. It follows the life of this band, Reckless Alibi, and they're all really fascinating characters, and it always feels good to play that sort of rock star character who begins every book sort of starts out as them living this rock star life, and then they grow and change through it, but they stay true to who they are. And I've just loved revisiting those characters. So I'd say that's definitely a highlight. But there were so many great ones last year, and it's tough for me to remember all of them right now, but I guess I should just leave it at that.
Yeah, no, I know it's a lot to remember, and so that's why I was like, oh, this is a good question, and we're totally putting him on the spot.
No, it's fine. I mean, they were wonderful titles. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool. I know that you also love music and play guitars. Do you think that that's also one of the reasons why you love that series?
For sure, yeah. And they give us the opportunity to sing little bits in those stories, and just getting to come up with a short little melody is kind of fun, even though I don't know if it translates that well over to like an audiobook where it's just the voice, but it's just kind of living in that world, and I love playing music, and it feels great.
Yeah, one of some of the other questions here was regarding the singing, and because you do that. I mean, you're also a musician, and some of the stuff that you've done in other work/jobs kind of thing has been singing and performing, and they do love it when you sing. So know that.
Oh, wow.
Singing, yay.
Yeah, I believe I played some in Charmer too. They had me initially when I even sang a little bit for that before we even confirmed the record. I got my electric out and I sat down in my chair in my closet and kind of had to really scrunch up because the guitar is spans a lot of space, but getting to just kind of come up with a song right there I was like, yeah, this is a pretty cool job. I'm very happy to be doing this.
Do you get asked to write this? Because I know we have copyright issues and infringements when it comes down to music and audiobooks. So we either have to make it sound completely not like the original recording or come up with our own music. Do you get asked to kind of come up with stuff for some of these books?
So that's a good question. It's depends on the author. I think I've only sung something that I just sort of came up with maybe 2 or 3 times. But lately I actually just sang a song and a title that the author sent over audio of her singing the way she wanted it to go. And so I was able to like pull the melody from what she was doing and then just sort of put a slight different spin on it, which was great. That definitely makes it easier for me, and it doesn't make me feel like I'm just making something up. But yeah.
I would say that a lot of people will be in agreement with me that it doesn't really matter what you're singing.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. So long as I will tell you, as much as I love and adore you, if you bust out with Baby Shark, I will hang up on you.
Oh, no, that won't happen.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
The last thing I need is to have that as an earworm.
Yeah, no.
And that's one thing that, again, love and adore you, but you can't even say that one.
No, I don't blame you.
Yeah. Also, Victoria, she says, you recently started an Instagram account and have been sharing and posting some of your upcoming releases there, which is awesome. And she is an instigator and a problem. I love her. I'm just kidding. She wants to know, when is your Twitter debut? Are you thinking of expanding to Twitter and other social medias?
I am, yeah. I have a Twitter name locked in. I just have to begin working on it. That's a very good question, and I appreciate the kick in the butt from anyone that's like, get on that. I will do it, yeah, for sure, and it's going to be happening soon. So yes, that's my answer.
As all the people listening are running over to the Twitter websites and their devices to start looking for that handle.
Oh, no.
When Twitter breaks, it's your fault, Jason.
Oh, God.
Just so you know. I'll send you a note. You did it. You broke it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think that, again, people, as part of that whole connecting with those that we love and adore, and just even to say thank you is great to have these social media platforms to be able to do it. So we definitely appreciate you taking the leap, because the last time we talked, you were like, yeah, no, not going to happen.
Yeah, no, it means a lot to me. And the turn of the new year was definitely like, all right, it's time. And it really does feel good, not only to, hear what fans are, enjoying about the work, but it allows me to support the authors even more, and the producers and production companies, because then I can help them get more buzz for the books. And that's always a good thing.
Yeah, because then they get more books out in audio and they get to recast you again. And yeah, it's just a perk all around for us listeners.
That helps too, yeah.
For sure. So yeah, you'll let us know when you decide to click activate on that account, and we will post it in Jason's Gem and they will flock over. So
for sure. All right.
And everywhere else too. We'll share the love with everybody. So that's good.
I hope I can deliver.
Trust me, it would be a fun experiment just for you to get on there and just say hi, and let's see how many people follow, like, and comment. That would be like your proof of, yeah, I think I'm doing this okay.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, God.
Yeah, no pressure. It's a lot. I mean, I can only imagine you guys trying to navigate between life in general, personal stuff, as well as recording, and then figuring out, can I not, share this on social media? Has it been announced? And then everything else that goes along with it. So it's a lot of work. It's not.
Yeah, no, I mean, in general, it's a good thing, right? Like where if I can announce a book that I'm working on, and enough, not that this happens, but if an author were to come back and say, hey, you can't do that. Well, that's fine. I can, I think it's a good trouble to be in, because, I'm trying to, I'm supporting their book. They're excited for the book. I think that would be a good situation in general, and, we work it out. But yeah, I definitely won't be in the habit of spoiling anything or promising anything that isn't going to happen.
No, yeah, that's good. Don't want to get you in trouble with anybody.
No, we're good.
Jason, the troublemaker. No, that's so not you.
No, probably not.
No. Brittany Cottingham is also one of our other moderators and admins in our groups, is also a reporter. So her questions are always very thoughtful and thorough. So
Yeah.
she says, with 6 years under your belt in the romance space, what aspects of the audiobook community has surprised you?
Thanks, Brittany. Surprised me about the audio community. It's, I guess I wouldn't call it a surprise. It's more something that I'm excited or interested in, and it's kind of cool to me, is that it really is people of all ages. I get to interact with people that are near my age, people that are younger, people that are, parents, people that are grandparents. It's really, when we all come together for whatever reason, whether it's a multicast or it's an awards ceremony of some kind, um, it's just such a good time to be able to mix and mingle with all these different kinds of people. And so that's something that I guess does happen in the acting world in general. If you're in a play or you're in a movie, people of different ages are all going to come together. But I guess if you're, working any kind of other job, you're pretty much going to be interacting with people that are more or less similar to you. But I guess I could be wrong. That's you get insight from people that have been in it for a very long time, especially since the audio world has changed so much, especially since the internet. But you have people that have been involved in it since the 80s, and some people that have just started out and are trying to figure things out, but which is still me a little bit, even though 6 years, yeah, that's quite a long time, I guess.
She does her research.
Yeah, she does for sure. Yeah, I'd say that's probably the thing that's most surprising to me, is that there are people who are just still trying to make it work as best they can. They move into other avenues, whether they're being a narrator who becomes a writer, or a narrator who becomes a producer and starts running a publishing company. So getting to hear all their insight and learn from them has been really, really helpful.
Cool. Also, Brittany, as a fan of your work, I believe you are one of the best male narrators in doing female voices.
Mm.
Did you have trouble / issues with doing female voices in the beginning? And if so, what ways have you worked to improve it?
That's a good question. I think with female voices, I've always been good with doing an impression of somebody. I'm not like an impressionist who does like really great celebrity voices or anything, but I've been good at sort of mimicking what people do, and my female voices are just me mimicking like women that I know, and I think it's definitely not something that I've tried to overthink. So I guess I could say that it did kind of come pretty easily. And working at it over time, I guess I've done my best to make sure that I just read them the same way I would read my character's dialogue or my narration, and just raise the register a bit. And I'm glad that people think of it that way. I hope to, make it as consistent and immersive as I can, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's, when you, especially with you having such a lower range, I think that sometimes when we get the character, when the male narrator is doing these characters and they have a female, character that comes up, sometimes they'll go into, and I think we've talked about it in the past a little bit, like California Valley Girl tone-ish.
Sure.
A little bit. And we're going, that's not, hello, no, we don't sound like that. Well, some of us don't sound like that. I'll correct myself.
Yeah.
Some of us, not all of us sound like that. And the way that you've done it has always been very much like it's almost like a melody. Almost, it's almost the way that when I hear it, it's you kind of go on a softer of your own range, and so it's enough for me to go, oh, that's the girl talking.
Yeah.
And it's just nice that you've taken it that way versus others, Valley Girl or a very high pitch. You're going, no, dude, no.
Yeah. So I think being able to differentiate, especially on the listener's part, to be able to hear that sort of swap from the low, straightforward, no funny business voice narration to a voice that's a little more able to express themselves, it allows us to kind of separate, okay, it's that person talking as opposed to this one. And yeah, I guess it is kind of like a melody. It allows me to kind of freely express myself in a way that, it allows me to use different parts of my register that the main character doesn't quite have access to.
Mm-hmm. After
If
many
that
years,
makes sense.
totally makes sense. I'm still like, I've been doing this for years. I think, like I said, Audiobook Lovin in the series is like turning 8 or 9 this year. It's I never keep track.
Yeah.
But the fact that you can just talk and then just flip the switch is still like, I'm like, oh, it's so cool.
Thank you. No, it's fun. I remember working with Erin Mallon, and she had nice things to say about that. It's definitely something that is developed over time, and spending so much time in the booth, and it allows me to save time in general. I don't have to stop and start as much if I can swap between those things, and I think that helps with. I think what helped with that was studying music and being able to jump between different notes and stuff. That kind of helps me swap to different registers, I guess.
Yeah,
that sounds really self-serving, I guess.
No. Yeah, but I mean, from a listener perspective, I mean, we love the fact when you guys share like those behind the booth moments, like when you're recording in the booth, when we kind of see how this road, because we have this image of you guys in a dark space with only the iPad lighting anything for you, and you know
that's close to what it's
close.
like.
It is, yeah. And getting to see that. So some of us sometimes, and I know I did at the beginning, think that when it came down to that character changing, that you would have to like maybe stop and like mentally prepare to get into that higher range or different character zone. But to hear you guys just like flip the switch and just continue with the same sentence, and I'm going, holy shit, that's cool.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely something that comes with practice. Yeah,
it's always great to hear you guys do that. And you do have, again, fangirling for a second here, the female voice that you do is fantastic, and it's one that's when we know that Jason Clarke is narrating, we're like, oh, that's going to be really good.
Yeah, and it helps. I mean, like especially with authors that write really dialogue heavy scenes, it just flows better. So it's easier for me as a reader and as the narrator to just feel that flow and know where each character is coming from. Yeah, I guess it's a little, talking to myself. So I guess, yeah, it's a little crazy.
Yeah, we all have our voices, don't we?
Yeah.
Some of them talk more often than others, just all. Exactly. You at least have it as a job, okay?
Yeah, that's true. I'm lucky.
Yeah. So Michelle Bastard has a really, really good, important question. What's your favorite type of food? Chinese, Greek, Latin?
Oh wow. I've ever since moving to the city and being able to try all different kinds of stuff, I've gotten way less picky, but the food I get most excited for and that I am just absolutely in love with is Indian food. I mean, it is just, it's so good. I've been eating a lot of Thai recently, and Thai food is great as well. It's got so many different kinds of food, but yeah, Indian food is definitely what I'll, make plans to get.
What's your favorite dish?
I'm pretty simple. I mean, chicken tikka masala is perfect. I mean, it's delicious. That with some naan and samosas, that's all I need.
Oh, nice. There is a restaurant down here in Orlando that's on Disney property, and it's part of the Animal Kingdom Resorts, and that restaurant is infamous for their naan bread because of all the dipping sauces. And I was like, what do you want for lunch? I go, I want that. No, that's an appetizer. I go, no, that's my meal.
That's all I'm having.
That's all I'm having because of the different dippings and the different types of breads. I'm a breadhead. Sorry.
Yeah, that's heaven.
Yeah, it was so good, the seasonings and stuff, and they have from all over the world different types of dips and stuff like that. But like, I would definitely be I've cooked it Indian food before because of culinary stuff, but not a huge eater, and I need to start expanding. So the Thai food and Indian food are on my list of cuisines to start getting more adventurous in.
Yeah. What would you say is your favorite?
Cuisine in general?
Yeah, like kind of food.
Oh, I like Italian food.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I think it's also more about the concept of family and feeding as a love language.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Italian food can be so amazing, and it's so much a part of at least American cooking in general.
Yeah.
That I guess I take it for granted. Like pizza is Italian cooking in a sense. Like I mean, it's like the greatest thing ever. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think I heard something on TikTok, and they were talking about these different types of ingredients and how they're good for you, like the basil and the tomatoes are all about, giving good energy, but also providing some stuff for our bodies, this and that, and cheese is this and that. And then she's like, yeah, so pizza is good for us. And I was like, oh, you're my people.
That's all yes. Telling me what I want to hear.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Like, see, there's validation right there on TikTok. Yeah, but definitely, like I said, in the Indian and Thai cuisine are on my list of getting more, because it's just so flavorful,
Yeah, absolutely.
In one bite, you get all these different kind of bursts of, different flavors. So it's definitely, I will be hitting you up when I start my Indian cuisine tour. Like, Jason, what was that thing that you were recommending besides the bread?
Yes, exactly.
Jody Martin asks, you mentioned in past interviews that you love to perform rom-coms and fantasy the most. And she says, I adore your performance in Aaron Mallon's romantic comedies. You're so funny. What was it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, for sure.
Okay.
Aaron's books are, I mean, she's a great writer and she's very funny. So it was easy for me. And, my co-narrators in that were giving me a lot, so I'm grateful that came across.
What she says, what was it like working with Joe Arden and PJ Oakland with just comedy and no romance? You guys sounded like you are having a lot of fun.
Yeah, Joe and I have worked together a lot, and he was great to chat with before and after the session, but also in session we were laughing as we went through it. It was such a ludicrous character and scene. And PJ I had never recorded with. I think he and I may have been involved in one project tangentially, but we never got to like record face to face. So doing that, he just hopped in and he was just immediately ready to go, and just the consummate professional. So I've met him one or two times at different awards shows and meetings, but I've not gotten to know him very well. So getting to work with him then and having it be such a clean read was really enjoyable. Hopefully get to work with him again.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of us were like, "Ooh, who's that?" With because I don't think he's done a lot of romance per se.
Yeah, not a ton, no.
Yeah. And I think that's also one of the things that we love about when we just have authors bring in new narrators, whether it's in a romantic comedy or anything. That like Erin has been doing these plays, which are awesome. I love her and I love her work.
Yeah.
So it's great to be able to go, who are you? And then go off on a completely non-romance tangent and listen to them based on that one other book that you listened to. So
that's wonderful. Yeah.
Val wants to know, now that you've been narrating for a long time, do you ever wonder if one day you will write a book?
It's a good question, Val. Yeah, I mean, I used to write when I was young, and not that means anything, but I always enjoyed doing it. I always enjoyed coming up with stories. But I don't know. I definitely don't think I'd be able to write something in this genre, but maybe someday. I was thinking about, since this has become such a stable thing, and what I want to do with my time in general, and thinking about, hey, do I want to write a book, as I get older? Maybe that'll be something I would want to do. So I enjoy doing it, but there's no plans for it for sure.
Okay. I love it. I when I was younger, and I'm like, yeah, like 5 days ago.
No, I mean like middle school. I was that cool. I would write stories. There was a team in our school that would get together every Tuesday, and our teacher would give us a prompt, and we had 45 minutes to write a story, and whatever came out. And it was super nerdy. I only stayed in it for a year, but I enjoyed doing it.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I did some stuff similar when I was in middle school and high school. So I get that. And nerdy, but it's a good nerdy to do.
For sure.
As you can see, we fawned over you guys as narrators and authors. So yeah, it's a good move. For anyone that's younger and thinking, I want to be a rock star. And I'm like, yeah, you can also do books.
Yeah, exactly.
Books are good. They're sexy.
Yeah.
Lorianne wants to know, do you think of ever attending an audiobook event / author events, when we get to finally go to one?
Yeah, Lorianne, that's a good question. I think the more that it becomes something consistent that I do, and the more I've been interacting with fans online, and once it becomes an option, I think it would be a really good time to get out there and meet face to face and have that experience, because it's never been something I've been able to do.
Mm-hmm. It's fun. Get to hang out with the people that are of like minds, and they understand why you're going goo goo gaga over a character.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I think for you guys, it's also like interesting, like a little bit of people watching, but also having that interaction with the fans and getting to hear it in person versus, notes or emails and passing the paper across the classroom like we used to do back in the day.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So I know that there's a couple of things that are starting to be planned for late this year / next year. So we can keep you posted on what's going on and what's being scheduled. And if your schedule allows, maybe you'll pop in and say hi.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll keep you posted on that. So along the lines of a previous question, Elizabeth Davis wants to know, what is your favorite line that you've narrated? Has anything stood out that you're going, ooh,
Favorite line that I've narrated? I'm not sure. There's so many of them. Mm-hmm. Probably. Honestly, in terms of like actual like favorites that I enjoyed, I got to do a series, the Her Monsters series, and I got to play some people that were basically demons and angels, and they had a few like great like speeches or great moments where they had to sort of battle one another, and it felt very heightened. It felt very much like, wow, I get to really like raise my voice and become this like heroic character. And I can't remember direct lines though, unfortunately. I guess anytime a chapter ends with the male narrator saying "fuck," and then that's the end of the chapter, I guess those are always a treat, because it always just kind of makes me laugh. Because it's a great sort of bookend to a chapter that's either been challenging for the character, or he's really excited to get with her, and he just goes "fuck." How about that?
Yeah, that's good. As people now will be grabbing that clip of you saying that word and adding it to their alarm settings or text messages notifications.
Yeah.
Because yeah. Well, it's one of the favorite things, like when you guys say specific words.
Sure.
So,
they probably wouldn't have a hard time finding audio of any of us saying those sorts of things.
Yeah, but again, it goes into that whole like, what's a frame of mind? How is that word? Because I love that word. Fuck is a great word, and you can use it in so many different ways. So it's also about how it's being utilized. But I know that moment you're talking about, and it's always when like your character finishes and it says "fuck," and then you mentally we kind of hear that dun dun dun. What will happen next? Because that's when the author decides to flip the POV to being when they're like, "What?" Like we want to know what's going on in his head, dude. Come on.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. The things you learn, Jason. Things you learn from us as fans. Chanel Martella, I'm hoping I'm saying that right, says, do you see yourself narrating for the rest of your career? And are there any other career ventures that you're currently thinking of exploring?
Thanks, Janelle. That's a good question. I think I could do this. Yeah, I think I could do this for a really long time. And I don't know if I could do it at the current volume that I do it at all the time, but it's definitely something I enjoy doing, and it allows me to be flexible with my schedule and kind of be my own boss. So I don't see myself letting go of it anytime soon. But in terms of pursuing other things, I would probably want to keep trying to just explore, even if just as a hobby, explore music and connecting more with people once we can actually go outside and actually collaborating with others in person. Because as much as I love this job, it's very solitary. So I think anything that involves creating work with other people in person, when it comes, whether it be music or storytelling, is something I'd like to keep in my life.
Yeah, we're hoping that we'll be able to get back to a world where you guys can do multicasts and be at the recording studio at the same time.
Oh, those are the best. Yeah.
Those, they look like fun.
Oh, they are. Yeah.
You guys messing around and then recording and doing the work and more messing around. And so, that's good. Kelly Love wants to know, what is your favorite Disney character and why?
Probably the Beast. Yeah, or maybe like my sister was a big fan of Nightmare Before Christmas, and I always loved Jack. Yeah, Disney characters, probably the Beast. I really love Wally. Yeah, he's amazing. Yeah, the Beast has always been. I love Beauty and the Beast. It's a great movie, and he's always kind of had that like brooding, unrequited love thing going on, which is it's just, it gets right to my heart. So I'd say him. Yeah.
Cool. She also asks, if you could become one of your characters, which lifestyle would you like to lead and why? Like rock star, CEO, outlaw, athlete.
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, I've already touched on it, but definitely rock star would be awesome. I think most guys would love that kind of life. But yeah, I don't know if being a billionaire CEO, being a billionaire would be great, but being a CEO doesn't quite line up with what I would love to do. Yeah, I'm definitely like the more musician sort of, go wherever the wind takes me kind of guy. Yeah, that's kind of fits in more with who I am.
Cool. I know we've touched on the following. Elisa Hahn, do you have a favorite trope you like to narrate? And if so, what is it?
Yeah, in terms of like tropes where the characters have a specific kind of relationship, I think the enemies to lovers is probably my favorite. And especially the Hot Cakes series, the Aaron Nicholas sugar-coated novels. I really love those. And sort of the idea that these, men from a sort of business background from another town sort of come back in and start mingling in this small town in their business, and the ladies at first are seeing them as these outsiders, and then they butt heads and then eventually fall for each other. I really enjoy those kinds of things.
Yeah, those are fun ones.
Yeah.
Like you think a few chapters ago you were saying he's an asshole, but now you're going goo goo gag. Okay, fine.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a great time.
Yeah, those are fun. Lynette asks, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would you be and why?
If I could live anywhere in the world, well, I'm from close to kind of the Midwest of America, and as I age, I've become more and more homesick, I guess. So I really love living there. But in terms of like a locale, like a type of place that I'd like to live in, I'm a very much like live in the mountains kind of like snowy in a log cabin kind of thing. That would be a dream to have that kind of life. I think I like the cold, and I like kind of living inside a cozy place and lighting a fire. So I think any place that has that kind of thing.
Yeah, sounds like fun. So we'll do one more question. This is from Karen Hoffman. Most people do not like to listen to their own voices, either on tape or narration, voice mail, whatever it used to be. How do you feel about listening to your own narration?
Yeah, I am so used to it at this point. I mean, even as I talk, I hear my voice coming back into the headphones at the same time I'm talking. So when I play back a bit and I hear myself just for a few seconds, it's really, I've gotten so used to it that it doesn't bother me. However, if I'm in a room with people, or if I'm, with family or friends, and then a video is played or audio is played of me, that still makes me kind of cringe a little bit and be like, I don't like that. That doesn't sound like me, So I guess with audiobooks, it's more like, oh yeah, I'm in control of the way I sound. I know what I sound like. But when I'm in the wild and I hear something unexpected, I'm like, no. So it still bothers me a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that we all have our own critique of our voices, but they haven't. Have friends been messing around with you when it comes down to that? Have they ever done that? Because I know they've done it to other narrators where they're hanging out and all of a sudden someone thinks it's funny and they'll bust out an audiobook.
No, they'll make fun of me just about the book itself, but no one has yet like found my book and just started playing it.
Okay.
A lot of my friends don't know my pseudonym, so they couldn't if they tried. But
Okay.
there are a couple who've teased me a little bit, but not by playing audio. No.
Okay, so at least that's good. I know, like I said, I've happened to some other friends and narrators that they're like in a party and all of a sudden, instead of the music, a line of a book comes out and they're going, "What the fuck? Stop!"
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, in the right environment, I can see that being hysterical, with like close friends that will love you no matter what you do. Because otherwise, it'd be like, "Ooh, that's the end of that friendship."
Oh gosh, no.
Yeah. So we'll get to other questions maybe later on another time, because we do have other things that we want to talk about and that are going to be fun for everybody to listen to. But I do have a question for you. What is your favorite word?
My favorite word. This is a question that they asked us in acting years ago as part of like an exercise. And at the time I picked the word nightingale. I don't know. There's something about that word that I really enjoy. I like the sort of the image of it. And I don't even off the top of my head know what a nightingale looks like, but it conveys like a feeling like the night and the moon and I don't know. That sounds kind of silly, but nightingale in general, I love it. I think it's a beautiful word.
It is. Yep. I agree with that one. It's a good one. I don't ever get to use it as often, but I think now, because of kids, I think Cinderella has a song in there while she's cleaning the floor and it says something about Sweet Nightingale in there singing. So that's when I hear it's like, oh, cute memories. And now Jason has said it and there'll be other kinds of, no, I'm just kidding. Favorite curse word?
Probably God damn it. I think that lands the best for me. When I'm as frustrated as I can get, I think God damn it is the one that really hits the sweet spot.
Okay. Don't use that one very often, but I'm the girl.
I try to keep it original. I try to keep it,
That's good. Nothing, changing it up. It's good. So we've reached part of our segment called, that we like to play with our guests, called Two Truths and a Lie, where you, our guest, tells us 3 things about themselves and which 2 are actually true and 1 is a lie. And we have to figure that out. That's always fun. And I like to say that the listeners are playing along because otherwise, that's just weird if they're not. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So if you're ready, you can start telling us your 3 things about you and we'll try to figure out which one's a lie.
Absolutely. All right. I am an Eagle Scout. I played 8 years of football. And the last one is, I can't remember. Oh yeah. I can't ice skate.
Oh boy.
So those are my 3 things.
Okay, see. Eagle Scout, played football for 8 years, and you can't ice skate, says the guy who loves the snow. So, I'm assuming that that's the lie, that you can't ice skate.
Okay. You would be wrong. That is true.
Oh.
I can't do it. I've tried. I think I've tried 4 times, maybe 5, in different, scenarios where I've been with like friends. I think I did it for a video once, and then I've, gone out with, women I've been with in the past, and I wish I could give that romantic image of us sort of like lightly skating together happily with no fear of falling, but it's so bad. I'm like a 4-year-old. It's really bad.
Okay. Which, by the way, is a perfect scene for a romance comedy where the hero tries to do that kind of a thing, romantic thing, and just says, and at the end of the day, as soon as you start waddling onto the ice, the heroine's like, yeah, this could be a good moment though of oopsie landing on each other.
Yeah.
For their first kiss.
Or it's a red flag and he's just, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we have
that is true.
That is true. Okay. So 8 years of football or Eagle Scouts. Oh, goodness. You made this not easy.
I know. I wanted to be a little hard.
Football, not true?
Football's not true. I played soccer.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was the lie.
God, I should have gone with my guts. As soon as he said 8 years, I went,
I
That's
know.
very specific. And at the same time, I'm going, it might be just.
I wasn't, If I pulled that where I'm like, no, it was 7 years and that would be stupid. So I guess that's kind of misleading. But no, I tried. I played football for a little bit and I just was too small. I love playing football, especially if it's like touch football. It's easier. But, and I love watching football. But gosh, the kids were way bigger than me and I just couldn't stand a chance.
Mm-hmm. But also the fact that you said you play soccer, which is football anywhere else except for the States.
That could be confusing to people who refer to it as football. So I'm sorry, American football. Yeah.
No, it's fine. No, I again always think of football as football and then I go soccer,
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
It's so Americanized.
Yeah.
All right. So that was the lie. Football for 8 years. See, that's cool. Get to know you better too. It's fun.
Yeah.
I did not think, again, it's assumptions. I did say about the ice skating since you do like the snow, but I'm also that girl that can't ice skate either.
Yeah, it looks like fun, There's people that can really fly and jump and stuff. And not that I've ever had the opportunity to even see what it feels like, but it looks really cool, but it's not something I can do.
Yeah, I'm like the 4-year-old to waddle. Up against the wall, hold it
stiff. Yeah, if I try to go, I mean, it's definitely out of my comfort zone. So I guess that's kind of fun. Same with roller skating. I tried that once recently, actually, and I just never tried again.
I was in senior year in high school. We did a field trip with the journalism class to New York, and we were at Central Park, and they had a ice rink there. And I said to myself, this is going to either go really bad as far as falling on my ass, but I go, how can I not take up the opportunity of ice skating in Central Park in New York? Because who knows when I'll go back. That's a fond memory of me on the ice skates up against the wall, waddling.
Oh gosh, I can see it now.
Yeah. Who's that girl? That's just Viv. But at least I can say I tried.
Yeah.
So, it works out. It was good. It was fun. You have good memories there. So Jason, before we go, can you tell us a little bit about what you're currently working on? What's coming up next? All that fun stuff. Add on our
absolutely. Yeah, I'm in the middle of a few titles right now. I'm actually, once we're finished here, I'm going to hop right back on and continue recording. But what I have that is completed, that's in the can, is like I was talking about earlier, the Reckless series, Reckless Reunion by Samantha Christie. That's coming to audio really soon. Let It Show by Tawna Fenske, and the Deception Mafia series, Vow of Deception and Tempted by Deception by Rena Kent. All of those are complete. I actually have to send out some corrections on Let It Show, but otherwise those titles are done and they should be coming out pretty soon. I'm also working on a series with Blair Babylon called it has a really long title, Billionaires in Disguise, Run Princess Bride Flicka series. And it's a blast. There's 5 titles in the series. I'm not positive on when they're trying to release it, so that's not very helpful to the author, but we're on book 5, which I believe is the final in the series as of now. And it's great. It's about this sort of European intrigue and espionage coupled with royalty and politics, and they go to these great locations, and lots of intrigue. It's a really good time, so I look out for that.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll be reaching out to the authors and saying, hey, come over to Jason's Gems and hang out with us, because that would be fun.
Yeah.
We love hanging, talking to the authors, and then they'll bust in, and they're as excited, the fact that they've cast you and that they got to listen to something of their work that you've been narrating, and they get like so giddy and excited, which we love to see that level of excitement from a listener's perspective when they're like, oh my God, look at this clip from Jason. And so I love it. It's like, they're fans just like we are.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's amazing it's so wonderful. I mean, I'm glad that they, like what I'm putting down, and that they keep having me back. I mean, it's really such a great opportunity. I'm glad people seem to like listening to it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And we're excited that we have more to listen to. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Jason, for taking the time to hang out with me today. It's been a pleasure as always.
It's been so fun. Thanks, Viviana.
Thank you. If you're not following Jason on Instagram, you need to, because, he'll be interacting more with us. And we'll make sure to include all that information on his links, as well as where you can get his catalog on Audible and other places in the episode's post at Viviana Enchantress of Books. So thank you again. And until next time, happy listenings.
A heartfelt thank you to all of our Audiobook Lovin Podcast Patreon. Special thanks to Jen Franklin, Brittany Cottingham, Leanne Schwartz, Christy Reitz, Mendy Summer, Jesse Stafford, Chrissy Font, Rhonda Pezzarello, Evelyn Clarisi, Michelle DaCosta, Emily Dye, Michelle Bestard, Farah Blair, Candice Platel, Carol Liebner, Bethany Crane, Teresa Martin, Jennifer Mirabelli, Kaylee Loring, Victoria Butler, Rula Hart, Carrie Wallace, Brittany Robinette Leiter, and Dawn Darsh. The Audiobook Lovin Podcast has special Patreon access levels. Join today to receive early access to podcast episodes, exclusive content with our guests, and much more. Support the podcast by becoming a patron at www.patreon.com/audiobooklovin. We thank you for your support.
Thank you for joining us on the Audiobook Lovin Podcast, hosted by Viviana, Enchantress of Books. For links and more information discussed in today's episode, previous podcasts, or the Audiobook Lovin Series, please visit our website, vivianaenchantressofbooks.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a positive review wherever you listen to our podcast. Until next time, happy listening.